is Gemma Rio from Destination Harrogate. We are absolutely delighted to host the 56th IATEFL International Conference and Exhibition in Harrogate District in 2023. As soon as you arrive, you'll see why we consider Harrogate District to be a truly special place to visit for a business event. First of all, our world-class convention centre sits right in the middle of a Victorian spa town, which means at the end of each day you'll be able to step outside and immediately enjoy our architectural heritage, our green spaces, and our fantastic independent restaurants and retailers. No other convention centre in the UK will offer you all of this within seconds of its front door. The phenomenal experience to be found in Harrogate Town itself is equally matched by the experience available to you in our wider district. As well as our Victorian spa town, Harrogate District also contains the medieval city of Ripon, a designated area of outstanding natural beauty, and 4 charming but very different market towns in Boroughbridge, Knaresborough, Massam and Pateley-Bridge. 88% of our visitors who join us for a business event say they're either very likely or likely to return as a leisure visitor. This demonstrates to you what a special place Harrogate District is and why we're certain you'll agree with us as soon as you arrive. If you'd like to plan your time outside the conference or even turn your visit into a longer stay, I'd suggest you head to visitharrogate.co.uk, where you'll see exactly why so many of our visitors return again and again.
Hello, so we're back again. Welcome to another IATEFL Live, the first IATEFL Live after Belfast, with Belfast now in the back window. We're looking forward already to the Harrogate conference. And if you are attentive in our Facebook stream, you'll see that there are lots of things still there about the IATEFL Belfast conference. If you want to go see the plenaries or see some of the interviews with the speakers that were there, they're still in the Facebook channel for you to watch. But as I said, with Belfast now done, we are looking forward, and we're looking forward to Harrogate in 2023, which is taking place in April 2023. And already the deadlines are coming for that conference. And the first deadline, and one of the most important deadlines, is that of the scholarships. So today we're going to talk scholarships. We're going to look at how to apply for a scholarship to the conference, and what the process is, what it means to apply for a scholarship, what you get if you are successful. And rather than me talk about it, we should bring in the guru of the IATEFL scholarship, who is putting a hat to one side and moving on, but I still managed to convince her to come and do this live stream with me. So hi, Maureen. So how are you, Maureen? How's things?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm excited to talk about scholarships. As you say, the deadline's looming, so
the deadline's looming. So the first thing we're going to flag up, and we'll flag this up lots of time, the deadline is 9 days away. It's June the 23rd is the deadline for scholarships. Okay, so mark that on your cards, viewers, already. We will keep reminding you of that deadline as we go through the live stream, but 9 days to apply. Can you do it in 9 days, Maureen? Is it possible?
Yes, I think you can. I mean, we'll talk about this as we go on, but I think the thing that probably takes applicants the longest is to decide which scholarships to apply for. So that demands quite a lot of careful reading, and I think John's going to talk a little bit about the application journey as we go through, but you can certainly do it in 9 days. I've known people do it the night before and still win. So
and still get through. And you're right, there are a lot, and we will mention those as we go through this live stream. And of course, if you're watching and you have a question, then do drop it into the comment box, and we'll try and get back on those questions during the live stream. And if you're watching afterwards and you have a question, we'll watch the stream and we'll watch the comment box on Facebook to try and get back to you, because we know that it's an important process for many of you, and obviously in these 9 days we want to help you as much as we can get those scholarships done. I'm sorry, Mary, that you've applied 3 times before. That happens. I was interviewing somebody at the Belfast conference, and I think they won, and it was their 8th time or something like that of applying. I think there really was a motto of if at first you don't succeed, keep applying, basically. Yes. Let's go. Sorry, Maureen.
It can be very easy to think, I applied and I didn't get it, but applications are strong, and just because you didn't get it one time, I don't mean just because, but if you didn't get it one time, then try again and do try again, because it's a strong field of applicants.
It really is, and I think I always mispronounce her name. Karen from who won the BSIC scholarship. Her interview is in the Facebook stream somewhere, and that's where she talks about the application process and how she was going to keep trying until she got it. Roger, I'm glad that you're recommending everybody go for it. It's a rewarding experience. There you go. I'm glad you think so. Let's take a step back. We've said scholarship a few times, Maureen. There are probably people watching this stream now. Like, what is a scholarship? What do we mean by scholarship? So can we look at that? So when we say IATEFL scholarships, what are we talking about?
What we're talking about is a certain amount of financial support is available. It's made available either by IATEFL SIGs, the special interest groups, by IATEFL itself, funding scholarships, often by money that have been left by former IATEFL members to support a scholarship in their name. It can be commercial organizations such as a publisher. It can be independent organizations that want to offer a scholarship relative to their particular area of expertise and influence. So what these sponsors do is they decide and state quite clearly what the applicants have to do and what you will get if your application is successful. And one thing you will always get is attendance at a pre-conference event, if relevant, and a year's membership of IATEFL. And then on top of that, you get help towards your accommodation costs, your transport costs to get you to conference. And very often you get help towards what we call conference-related expenses. So that's a bit of money to help you with basically eating, drinking, buying books at the exhibition if you want to.
Buying books at the exhibition. That's a good way of spending the scholarship money. Basanto, we were going to explain to you the whole process as we go through this live stream. And if you have any questions as we explain it, please drop them in. So Maureen, so I think the first thing that I take from that is there's not one scholarship. There are lots of scholarships, and in essence, they're actually all different. Or there may be some similarities, but they're all different to a sense.
Yes, we have between 26 and 28 scholarships at any one time. And every scholarship is offered by a different sponsor. Yeah. So you might have one offered by Learning Technology Special Interest Group. You might have one offered by Lexical Lab, which is a private teaching organization. You might have one offered by TOEFL for the TOEFL Award. And each scholarship has different requirements. And that's why it's really important when you apply that you read very carefully to make sure you fit the requirements for the scholarships you're applying for. An obvious example is a scholarship that IATEFL sponsors called the Jill Sturtridge First Time Speaker Scholarship. Now that's obviously for a first time speaker at IATEFL. So if you've spoken at IATEFL before, you wouldn't be eligible for that one. You don't always have to be a member of IATEFL to apply. So again, that's worth checking. Don't think, oh, I'm not an IATEFL member yet, so I can't apply. That's not the case. So there is quite a lot of reading to do. First of all, to see which of these scholarships might apply to me, that, you know, which I fit the requirements, and also which of these scholarships is interesting for me. Do I feel I've got something to contribute with my application? If I'm going to submit a speaker proposal, have I got something I want to share? Because it is very much a two-way street for us.
I think it's important to note that a lot of the scholarships are tied up with speaking as well. So, you know, you're applying to present. If you win a scholarship, you're probably going to be presenting at conference. So people shouldn't forget that. Although not all of them are kind of speaker related in the sense. I know that obviously from the Learning Tech point of view, we have a roving reporter one where. they get to come and they report back on the conference, and a number of SIGs do that. Christina, I can see, thank you very much for sharing the link I was about to put in there. So if you want to know the scholarships that are available for 2023, there's a list of them on that webpage that I've just dropped in there. So that's iatefl.org/get involved / scholarships. I think I just roughly counted there are 28 for next year with it. Corey asks about he said, can you please, he or she said, please could you describe more about the conference related expenses? And obviously this is something that does vary, but could you give a rough overview of what that means to people?
The amount of each scholarship is different. I mean, I suppose what's coming through very strongly is each scholarship is different, whether in terms of its requirements or in terms of what it offers. So you will generally see when you go to the scholarships page and you look at the list of scholarships, you'll see a little brief description, and then you'll see to apply, you must submit, and then it will show you what you have to submit for application. And then it shows you what you will receive. And this is generally an amount of money. Yeah, let's say it could be £1,500, which would cover your flight, your accommodation while at conference, and the balance of that is for conference-related expenses. Now, we don't ask you to come every day with your receipt for your lunch and hand it in and get your £3.40 back. Basically, the scholarship gives you this bag of money, and once your flights and accommodation are paid for and we have the receipts for that, you get the balance of your award at the winners gathering when all our winners come together on the first day of conference, and that money is given to you, and after that, that's the end of it for the money.
And the winners gathering is always such a nice gathering of people, because they're always so excited to be at conference. You know, because for many of the scholarship winners, it is their first time at conference, or you know, the scholarship has provided that opportunity to go to conference, which they would not normally have, perhaps.
I think all of the winners, when they confirm their acceptance, I would say 80% of winners say in one way or another, this is a dream come true, and I couldn't get to conference without a scholarship.
Absolutely.
Which is why applying is so important, because, you know, Sean, I always say you have to be in it to win it. In it to win it, yeah. And if you don't apply, you can never win it. So I really encourage people so strongly, because every scholarship winner also says, I never thought I'd win. I never thought I'd win. And you say, yeah, but you did, didn't you? Because you applied for strong application and you won.
That's interesting. You say so, strong application there. So again, just kind of breaking down the message that you're giving us. So we know the deadline is June the 23rd. We know there are 28 varied scholarships from it. So your first tip was make sure you go to that page that we've put there and read and make sure you make good choices to which scholarships you apply for. So just in that, you can apply for more than one scholarship.
You can apply for more than one scholarship. There is no limit. I think our maximum in previous years has been someone who applied for 14 scholarships. That's
impressive.
Very ambitious. But I would like to say a couple of things about applying for more than one. The first thing is, if you're applying for scholarships that require you to submit a speaker proposal, you can apply for lots of different scholarships, but you can only submit one speaker proposal.
So make sure it's relevant, is what you're going to say.
Make sure it's relevant. And the second thing I would say, if you're applying for more than one, which I encourage you to do, is when you are applying, be sure that your application is targeted towards that scholarship. Don't write like a really general application and fire it off to 6 different scholarships, because you risk missing the requirements for each particular one. So if you're going to submit for more than one, target your application to each individual scholarship. It's sometimes quite a good idea, actually, here's a little thought, to get a supportive friend or colleague to read the scholarship requirements and read your application before you actually submit them, and they can say to you, oh, you could say a little bit more about this, or you could say a little bit more about that, because sometimes you're too close to it yourself.
Yeah. And you don't. It's a bit. What you're saying to me is kind of is almost. It feels a bit like job advice. You know, you want to apply for several companies, but make sure you actually big up the company you're applying for within that scholarship. Don't write a generic letter of application to all those companies from it. And I think, and I do. I mean, it is a number of years ago now that when I was the learning tech coordinator and looked at the learning tech scholarships, and one of the things that always used to surprise me was people that didn't mention technology in that. So I do think it is, that's an immediate cutoff point for me if I was looking at it, if you haven't mentioned the relevant thing there. So you can apply for more than one, but make sure you target well and you make your application relevant to that to each scholarship to which you're applying.
That's correct.
Is that right? Any other advice that you would give from that?
There are excuse me. There are some scholarships like the IATEFL Bill Lee and the IATEFL Ray Chung that have, or the IATEFL Latin America Scholarship, the Africa Scholarship, that have certain geographical restrictions, as the name suggests. So if that scholarship attracts you, it's important to make sure that you fit the geographical restrictions of that scholarship. So that's quite important as well. Yeah.
I know. I was nodding along. Basanta asked, "Can we apply the presentation before? Can we apply before the presentation acceptance by the conference?" Yes, you have to. The June the 23rd is your application date for the scholarships. That missed June the 23rd. That's your chance for scholarships of 2023 gone.
That's right.
Absolutely right on that. I tell you what. Let's. I've got this kind of shortish video of some of the scholarship winners that we recorded in Belfast. So I think what we'll do, if everybody's okay with that, we'll play that video, and then after that we'll come back and we'll bring John into the conversation. And although what you can't see is John going, no, don't do that. I'm going to bring John into the conversation, and he's going to give you the practical part about where you apply and how you get on the website. Okay, so let's have a look at or a listen to just a group of the scholarship winners from this year that we managed to corner in one part of the Belfast conference centre and get to hear their thoughts.
Hello, IATEFL. We are really happy to have with us today our scholarship winners. Oh, wonderful. So let's see who is who. Let's start from you. So your name and your country and your scholarship, please.
Hi, I'm Rachel Tsateri. I'm from Greece, and my scholarship was Sturtridge First Time Speaker Scholarship.
Wonderful.
Hello, I'm Tanishta. I'm from India, and I have received the Musical Grants Scholarship.
Lovely.
Hello, I'm Fatma Tamimi. I'm from Tunisia, and I won the African Scholarship.
Hi, my name is Hannah, originally from South Korea, staying in Australia. I am the winner of TOEFL program scholarship.
Lovely, thank you.
Hi, I'm Helen. I'm originally from Canada, but I live in the UK, and I am the winner of the TD SIG Michael Berman Scholarship.
Right, my name is Tamara Bustos. I'm from Argentina, from Rosario. I won the Latin American Scholarship.
Fantastic.
Hi, my name is Ilana Beka. I'm from Ukraine, and I'm pleased and honored to be a Macmillan Education Scholarship winner.
Excellent. And our gentleman.
Last but not least, okay, so my name is Laszlo. I come from Hungary, and I've won the Creativity Group Scholarship.
Wonderful. How has the IATEFL experience been for you so far?
Super! Great. Great. Fantastic. Overwhelming.
Yeah. But in a good way.
In a good way. Yeah.
How many sessions would you say have you attended so far?
Oh my God.
Way too many.
Yeah, way too many to remember right now.
Yes. 15 probably. 20, yeah, 15.
Wow.
15 and 20.
I didn't even count, to be honest.
Oh, that's another. Oh, that's another. Oh, that's another.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So for the people who are watching from home, how can people apply for the scholarship and what advice would you give them? Let's start with our gentleman.
Oh, thank you. Well, I think most important is what we also talked about in the scholarship meeting, that kind of believe in yourself, because unless you try and unless you submit a proposal, you will never get a scholarship, and sometimes you might try more times, but then eventually you can never know if your proposal is good enough. And I think every single thought that is original is good enough anyway, so why don't you just give it a shot and try?
Well, it is really a very wonderful experience and a very enriching event. So I advise all the Tunisian English teachers to apply as soon as possible.
Fantastic. Yeah. And if I can ask you to describe IATEFL in 3 words, what would those words be?
Networking and amazing and exhausting, but in a good way. Yes.
Overwhelming, fabulous, and new. New to me.
I wasn't prepared for this. You didn't tell us but she said networking, so I'm going to say friendship, because I've made new friends, and development, because you can give your first talk and learn a lot, and party, because it is a big party.
Yeah, well, I think it has to do a lot about sharing and meeting new friends, as they have already said, and it's a great opportunity to spend every day, because it's a whole day, with gorgeous people from everywhere in the world.
Well, we hope to see you again in the future. Thank you very much for applying. Thank you very much for weighing in, for being so energetic. And a big round of applause for our scholars.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So welcome to the stream, John. Just all the memories of Belfast were just flooding back as I was watching that video with it. And obviously that was only some of the scholarship winners there. But what struck me just immediately, I saw when I saw the video for the first time, is you forget how diverse and how how global the scholarship is. Obviously some scholarships are, as you said, more in a region specific, but you just get such a diverse group of people that have this opportunity to come.
That's right, and that was one group of very happy people there. And it kind of made the point which you picked up on as well, Sean, is that some people think, oh, I work in Europe, I'm not eligible to apply, or I work in the UK, I'm not eligible to apply. But that is not what your location doesn't decide your eligibility to apply. No. The text of the scholarship that you're applying for decides whether you're eligible or not. Yeah,
absolutely. And there are, as I said at the beginning of this live stream, there are some longer interviews with scholarship winners that are still on our Facebook page, so you can see. I think there are 3 of them that talk in more depth about the winning and what it meant to them. A quick question before we bring John in. Patricia Gomez asks, can one apply for a scholarship without working at the moment? I've been teaching for nearly 15 years, but I'm not working at this moment. I thought so.
At the risk of sounding like a broken record, Patricia, it does depend on the scholarship. Some scholarships will say you need to be a practicing teacher or teacher educator. But the majority of scholarships don't require you to be working at the moment. Yeah, so I would read that criterion section very carefully. You've got 15 years worth of experience, so I'm sure there's a scholarship that would be relevant to you that you could bring that experience to share with delegates at conference. So I would have a really good look. Don't think that's going to rule you out.
I would agree, because as you said, some of the, obviously, if you're not teaching, some people might think, well, have I got anything to say if I've got to do a presentation? But as we've also said, not all the scholarships require you to present. So you could be bringing a completely different angle into to some of the reporters that come in and the things that are done there. So, yeah, I mean, it is a recurring theme, but it's read the scholarship. There are 28 of them to read through. You've got 9 days, so you could set yourself a little reading challenge each day to go through them. And John, once they've read through those scholarships, once they want to get to the point where it's like, I'm going to apply for this, what do they do next?
Okay, right. That's a really good question and a really important aspect. The first thing I think they need to do is make sure that they're available next April between the 18th and the 21st, because that's fairly essential in order to participate and to be there. As we've said, the first port of call is to go to our website, and in the Get Involved section at the top, you'll see scholarships. And the reason to go there first, as Maureen has previously said, is that we literally list each of the scholarships which is available to apply for, and clicking on each one, you can actually see them as a PDF, the details of that scholarship, what the scholarship is looking for, whether you feel it might apply to you and might be one that you're interested in applying for. But once you've actually made that decision, then yes, what are the mechanics? Well, the first thing to do is obviously to head to our website at IATEFL.org. And once you get there, you actually, this is a really important thing, you need to log in. Now, it doesn't matter if you're a member of IATEFL or not. To do something, to attend the conference, to join in with any kind of event and to apply for a scholarship, you need to have a login to our website. It's completely free. You just go to that login button at the top. And if you haven't got an account, you click on the selection Create New Account. If you've already got a login, then you put in your details. If you're creating an account, it'll just ask for your name, your email address, and it will ask for your local address, because with regard to the scholarships, as Maureen has previously said, some of them are geographically located, and when you put in your address, it will automatically take that and filter the scholarships so that you're wasting your time and applying for the ones that apply to you. Also, as Maureen has said, some of those scholarships you don't need to necessarily be a member of IATEFL. If you are a member of IATEFL, of course, logging in will register that, and therefore those scholarships will show and be available to you. So log in first of all, and when you do log into the IATEFL website, it always takes you through to what we call the dashboard, where you'll see your information. On the right, it says your membership information. Of course, if you're not a member, it won't show that. It'll give you an invitation to join should you wish to. But if you look at the panels on the left, the bottom one there is scholarships. And that's the starting process. You click on that panel, scholarships, you put in your information, and then you put in your proposal. And as everybody has said, make sure you complete that process and press send by 4 p.m. UK time on the 23rd of June of this month.
Thank you, John. Yeah, made perfect sense. You did say this, but while you went through it, but we have got a couple of questions in from Amber and Serge. I think it's about being a member. So just categorically state you do not have to be a member of IATEFL to apply for scholarship. In fact, often you get membership as the scholarship.
Indeed, if you win a scholarship and you're not a member, then very often that will be part of your award. Yes.
Okay. Although it is worth saying that if you're applying for a scholarship which is sponsored by an IATEFL SIG, a special interest group, some of them require you to be a SIG member before you apply, and some don't. So again, it's careful reading. And Donna, are you best placed to answer Glenn's question where he says, I need to submit an online speaker proposal and an essay. After I first submit my online speaker proposal, will it lead me to a page where I will submit my essay?
You will, yes. when you start that submission of your proposal, first of all, it'll ask for your details for yourself and then for your proposal, and you will put that. So I would always say prepare your essay separately in a Word document to make sure you're happy with it. Make sure that it does fit within those word limits, because the system does take those into consideration. And then when you're happy, just copy that and drop it into the box and submit it. I think that's a good way of doing it.
Yeah, so just in case you're not sure what John's saying, the boxes are basically electronic boxes. So you write your essay, you write your essay on a piece of on a Word doc, and then copy and paste it in, which is useful. I've always found that useful when I was applying to speak for IATEFL, because it told me what my word limit was.
Exactly.
If you knew where you were with it or not. So just backtracking for just to clarify those again, you do not have to be for unless the scholarship specifically asks you to be a member of that SIG, you do not have to be a member of IATEFL.
No, you don't.
But you do.
But of course, if you join, then in the meantime, then it opens up additional scholarships for you to be able to apply for.
But member or not member, you do have to create an account on the IATEFL website. Okay,
absolutely.
So I know from other things that's something that people often forget. So you do need to make an account on the website in order for you to submit. But within the provisos we've just said, it doesn't mean that you have to be a member of it. Okay,
creating an account doesn't cost anything. There are no implications. It just means that we're ready to go in terms of being able to work with you and provide you with opportunities such as the scholarships.
Perfect.
Can I add a couple of little points here, Sean?
Please, Maureen.
There's also a useful section, I'm just looking at it now, on the scholarships called frequently asked questions. So if you might find that the answers to some of your questions are already there, and you can search for that by simply putting scholarships frequently asked questions as a search item, and it will take you to that page. And I'm not sure, Sean, if you're going to ask about this anyway, but I thought it might be helpful for applicants to know what happens once they've clicked submit.
Yes, it was a question I was gonna ask with it. So June the 23rd, 4:00, submissions are done. Everybody submitted. The deadline has passed. Go on then, Maureen. What happens next?
What happens next is that you sit back feeling very relieved, thinking, thank God that's done. And we then pick it up from head office. And get
by we just said say that this is a committee of people. Yeah,
the scholarship committee, and scholarship committee chair works very closely with Laura Creed at the moment at IATEFL, who's our dedicated scholarship admin support person. And she's the person all successful applicants have communication with regarding flights, regarding accommodation, etc. So the first thing we do is check that you haven't won a scholarship in the previous 3 years, because the association eligibility criteria will say you can't win a scholarship for 3 years after you've won one. So if you were in Belfast, you can't apply again for 23, 24, 25, but you can apply for 26. Then we, or scholarship committee, take all the applications and send them off to the relevant sponsors. Each sponsor either has its own reading panels of people with particular knowledge and expertise in the area of your scholarship that you've applied for. And in the terms of the IATEFL awards, which are funded by the organisation, scholarship committee and experienced external readers read for those. So that's quite an intense period, because you can have, some years we've had 3,500 applications, and that's quite a lot to read. But it's not just like one person who's doing it. Each scholarship generally reads for themselves. And within a period, depending, 4 to 6 weeks, we will make the final decisions, coordinate those final decisions, and we will let the successful applicants know, and they need to accept as soon as they can within a 48-hour window, so we know their acceptance is confirmed.
I like the way you still say we on all that, Maureen.
I know I've stepped in the scholarship committee, but
it's kind of like I mean, for those of you who don't know, I mean, for me, scholarships and Maureen are kind of synonymous in IATEFL. I mean, she's been working on them for so long, but is now stepping back from that role. But it is, but I find it's interesting how that association is there.
It's still in my heart. That's
I know. I kind of June the 24th. Are you going to be itching to get some of those proposals and read them?
I will.
It'll be one of those things. A couple of questions have come in. Elsie, I think we have. If you've only just joined the stream, once the recording is available, which is very shortly, if you go back a little bit, we did talk about some tips, but basically make them stand out by making sure you talk about if you're applying to a special interest group one, talk about what the relevance of that to you. Talk about so don't be generic, make it specific was our biggest tip from it. All right. But we mentioned other things throughout the stream, so I would suggest just go back and have a look at that. Sadiq, someone asked, is there a template or guideline for the online speaker proposal? The answer is yes, isn't it? When they log in, there's a template by the form as such. But I would, I mean, as somebody that's spoken quite a bit at IATEFL, then I always do mine on a Word document and then just copy and paste it as you go into it, and that would be the same for the actual application that you're making for the scholarship as well. So do everything. So look at what you need by going to the link that we've told about scholarships. Then go. Read your scholarships. Then open your Word doc. Do everything in a Word doc or whatever software you use for that. Save it there, and then go to the application and start the process. I would imagine, and I don't want to put John on the spot, I would imagine you can save the process as you go along, so you don't have to do it in one go. Robert, the recording all appears immediately we can stop going live. There will be a recording within the Facebook live stream for you to look at. What have I missed, Maureen? Is there anything, John? Is there anything that we really need to say? I think we've covered most things, haven't we?
I think we have. I mean, all I always say is, encourage you to apply, whether, you're a teacher with, 2 or 3 years experience or a teacher educator with 23 years experience. There are scholarships that are appropriate for you. And also, and I think I said that at this year's Scholarship Winners Gathering, so winners often think, oh, this is such a great opportunity for me, and a fantastic opportunity for me. But it's a fantastic opportunity for conference to get you to conference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we learn so much about your context and your teaching or training or management experience. It's very much a two-way street, and scholarships, the winners and the talks and the presentations that you give really enrich the experience for delegates. So please do realize it's a two-way street, and we love to have you. I love to have you. I'm not we anymore. I love to have you.
I would agree with that completely. I think it's one of those things where every one of us as a professional in English language teaching has something to say, something important, which will be important and relevant to other people as well, and will trigger ideas and thoughts. And that's really what the whole conference is about. So everybody contributes, and that's what makes the other thing I saw from the video, which really came across there, is what a community the scholarship winners create amongst themselves. I've seen in my short time with IATEFL, those people gaining confidence and then move forward in the association in other ways as well. And it's so rewarding to see that as well.
Right, I'm gonna do the 30-second recap in case anybody can't be bothered to watch the whole live stream and they just want to see how to apply for a scholarship. So June the 23rd, this is where you correct me if I get anything wrong. June the 23rd, 4 p.m. is the deadline. You've got 9 days and about an hour and a bit to do that.
Yes, that's 4 p.m. UK time.
4 p.m. UK time. There are 28 scholarships which can be found on the IATEFL page. Get Involved Scholarships. The link is in the feed, so have a look down, and John is going to put it on the screen there. So that's your starting point. Go look at the 28 scholarships that are there. You can apply for more than one scholarship, but make sure obviously that you fulfill the requirements of those scholarships that you want to go. So far so good? Yeah.
So far so good.
So some of the scholarships are are presenting ones, some are not. So check that. Some are geographical ones, some are not. So check very carefully which ones you want to do. Once you've decided what scholarships you want to apply for, use a Word document, draft what's required for your proposal for the scholarship. Yep. Then you go to the IATEFL website, and the first thing you will need to do if you haven't got one is make an account. It does not matter if you're a member or a non-member to make the account.
The other thing which is, sorry,
Sean,
I was just going to say the other thing which is worth mentioning as well is even if you haven't got an account or aren't a member of IATEFL, check with your institution that you're working with, because they may well have an institutional membership of IATEFL, in which case they can add you to that account and you'll be able to apply for scholarships through your institution. So that's always worth checking as well.
Perfect. So create an account. Doesn't matter if you're a member or non-member, or if you're an institutional member. I've added that to the spiel already. Once your account is created, go to the scholarship page and then start to copy and paste the information that you have from that you've made on your Word document about your proposal. And
don't go to the scholarship page.
Sorry,
go to your dashboard. When you log in, you're on your dashboard, and you'll see. I apologise.
I meant dashboard when I said scholarship. Go to your dashboard, put it in there. When you don't have to complete it in one go, but when you're done, and you must be done by June the 23rd, 4:00 UK time, submit. I was listening. And we encourage you to apply for as many as you are eligible for, and we encourage you to apply. Seriously, as I said, as we started, there are people that have applied lots of times for scholarships and eventually they succeeded. If you don't apply, you don't open the door to that opportunity. Application is the way forward on that one. Well, there you go. IATEFL scholarships, you have 9 days and counting. And the added bonus, which I didn't say, of course, if you do win a scholarship, then you get to be interviewed by my lovely team in Harrogate. So there's the final carrot on the stick there. At that point, then, I'd like to thank John for coming in and giving us that information, and obviously big thank you to Maureen for coming in and giving us such a wonderful overview of the scholarship. And of course, although it's been said many times, I don't think we say enough thank you for all the work that you have done on scholarship over the years. As I said, I think scholarships and Maureen are synonymous and will be for many years to come from that. But I know there's a wonderful committee and a lot of people work on them, but the time and patience you've always given to them is one of the reasons why so many people love applying and winning for them. Fantastic. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. The recording will be available now. As I said, if you watch the recording and we didn't answer a question, pop it into the comments box on Facebook or on YouTube. We do monitor those, so we will try and get back to you so you can apply for your scholarship as soon as possible. Thank you for joining us. Great to be back in our usual setting, and we'll see you again very shortly for another IATEFL Live. Until then, stay safe and get your applications going.